Hey, what is up everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and today I will be talking about the latest epic war arc developments in Boku no Hero, including the fate of some of our favorite Class 1A and 1B students, and some important information that may have just been revealed about Gigantomachia, and how this specific information could relate to the truth about Shigaraki and his new powers. The war arc is in full swing, and it has been for quite a while, but something big is definitely coming, quite literally, so let's get into it. If you enjoyed the Boku no Hero content on this channel and you want to see more, please leave a like to let me know, it really does help. And if you're new to the channel, or you just haven't subscribed yet, make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. You really have to go through the trouble of clicking that bell and selecting the option that says all. If you don't do that, you're gonna miss a lot of our videos, even if you are subscribed. It's just how YouTube works. And if you like seeing actual visuals on my video instead of just like me talking over a blank screen, please show some love to my editor, DakotaBroskie. He is also an anime YouTuber, so check out his channel, link in the description. Finally, this video will of course contain Boku no Hero manga spoilers. We're dealing with the latest events in the story, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. As you will recall, at the end of the previous chapter, Momo and the various Class 1A and 1B students near the villain mansion realized that the heroes couldn't stop Gigantomachia, and so it would be up to the students to try to take him down. Because of his incredibly tough body, Midnight advised Momo to create a sleeping agent and put Machia to sleep by forcing the sleeping agent into his mouth. Any attempt to pierce his skin directly appears to be pretty much impossible, so the mouth is the only way to go. So, because they have to try to use Machia's mouth to inject the sleeping agent, the students have to find a way to get close to Machia's face. Since he is so tall, and since he is moving quickly, the students decide to use Juzo's softening quirk to trap Machia inside a giant pit of mud, which will hopefully slow him down for long enough to put some of the sleeping agent into his mouth. With the help of Setsuna, whose creepy body part detaching quirk enables her to keep an eye on Machia and determine his exact route while talking to Juzo at the same time, Juzo lays the trap and all the students prepare themselves for the inevitable showdown. But just before Machia arrives, the students are informed that a bright blue flame is bursting out from Machia's back. This means that Dabi must be riding on Machia's back, and if Dabi's there, then it's likely that other members of the League of Villains are up there as well. So, not only do the students have to worry about a gigantic, overpowered monster, they also have to worry about multiple other powerful villains who are riding on his back. As Machia approaches the student's position, our girl, Mount Lady, is still desperately hanging on to him in an attempt to slow him down even a little bit. Mount Lady realizes that Machia is practically unstoppable, but to her credit, she still keeps fighting and she keeps trying to bring him down against all odds. We absolutely have to give props to Mount Lady for her courage and perseverance in this situation. She is facing off against an indestructible and unstoppable mountain of a villain. She has already been hit and thrown off of him multiple times, and yet she keeps getting back up and fighting on. For a pro hero who was first introduced to us as a bit of a diva who seemed to like media attention and fame more than actually getting her hands dirty, it's clear that Mount Lady is actually a brave and honorable pro hero. I'm not sure if she was always this way and the media just portrayed her as something else, or if she has been developing over time, but regardless, I have great respect for her courage and commitment. As Machia continues his rapid advance, he steps right into the student's trap. He steps on the ground that was softened by Juzo and falls into a giant pit. The sudden drop stops him in his tracks and also rattles the other villains who were riding on his back. The students rush into action. They use Ibara Shiozaki's Vine quirk and other quirks to pull Machia's head down. Meanwhile, other students go on the offensive against the villains on Machia's back in an attempt to prevent them from interfering with the mission to sedate Machia. Dabi uses his flames to keep the students back, and Mr. Compress is using his marbles to launch a bunch of debris at the heroes. But there are a lot of students taking part in this attack, and they are demonstrating some impressive teamwork. For the moment, it looks like the students have the advantage. Jiro, Kaminari, Reiko Yanagi, and others are keeping the villains on Makia's back busy, and at least thus far, their strategy definitely appears to be working. As far as Makia goes, even though he is currently trapped inside the pit, he isn't giving up. As the students attempt to force him to ingest the sleeping agent, Makia uses his breath to blow a bunch of students away. His breath turns out to be like a powerful hurricane, and this foils the students' plans to sedate him, at least for the time being. Once the students are forced to fall back, Dabi turns up the heat and he uses his flames to keep the students from getting closer to Makia. Dabi notes that Makia has multiple different overpowered quirks, including the ability to convert energy during a battle into an increase in body size, a quirk that blocks out pain, and other highly useful quirks. Makia was designed to be the perfect bodyguard for All For One, and now for Shigaraki. And in that sense, Makia is kind of like a Nomu, or rather, he is something between a normal person and a Nomu, just like the new Shigaraki. Clearly, Makia has been the subject of various experiments and procedures, and he has been injected with multiple quirks by Ujiko. He is also incredibly loyal to his master, and he is willing to follow any order given to him. But at the same time, Makia doesn't look like a conventional Nomu, so the procedure that he underwent is likely similar to Shigaraki's procedure. Makia was made stronger, and he was injected with multiple quirks without being transformed into a full-fledged Nomu. But he follows his master's orders very closely, and he usually refuses to act at all unless explicitly ordered to by someone whom he acknowledges as his master. This part of the story is very interesting to me personally, because I wonder whether Shigaraki's new procedure had some hidden element to it. I talked about this before, but we know from previous chapters that a part of All For One's own consciousness and personality is now inside of Shigaraki. And at times, that second personality has kind of taken over, at least for a moment. Like the time Shigaraki referred to the original user of One For All as his brother, despite the fact that Shigaraki himself doesn't have a brother. He is of course the brother of One For All, not Shigaraki. So far from what we've seen, Shigaraki has been resisting this influence from All For One, and he is determined to remain in control of his own body. But all of this stuff about Makia having multiple quirks and also being subject to procedures has me wondering, is it possible that All For One's plans for Shigaraki are more manipulative than we thought? Is it possible that Ujiko's procedure not only made Shigaraki much stronger, but also made him more vulnerable to being controlled by All For One? Just like Makia is incredibly strong, but completely subservient to his master. It's fair to assume that Makia and Shigaraki underwent a similar type of procedure, so who knows? Maybe All For One really does want the best for Shigaraki, and the only purpose of the procedure was to make Shigaraki stronger. But maybe there's more to it. Perhaps that aspect of All For One's consciousness that is now inside of Shigaraki will continue to get stronger until Shigaraki becomes as obedient and prone to manipulation as Makia. That's all speculation at this point, but I am very curious to see where this goes. But back to the story. The students reveal that they placed explosives at the bottom of the mud pit, and by activating those explosives they can force Makia to sink even deeper. So, as Makia tries to stand up and break free of the pit, the students activate the explosives and Makia does end up sinking deeper, which buys the students some more time. Spinner wonders why Makia doesn't just tunnel underground, since he is apparently capable of doing this, and this would be much faster since he wouldn't have to deal with any heroes or hero students. But Mr. Compress answers that the rest of them who are on his back would not be able to survive a subterranean journey. So, it seems that Makia is avoiding going underground because he was ordered by Shigaraki to deliver the League of Villains safely to Jakku. Personally, I was pretty surprised to learn that Makia is apparently able to just tunnel underground like a gigantic version of Bugs Bunny. But if what Spinner said is true, then this is yet more proof of just how versatile and OP Makia is as a villain. This guy and the new Shigaraki in the same place at the same time would be too much for the heroes to handle. That could honestly be game over at this point, so the heroes better do their very best to avoid this worst case scenario. As Makia continues to struggle to get out of the pit, our girl Mount Lady shows up yet again. She jumps on Makia from behind, grabs his face, and does her best to force his mouth open. The students couldn't force the sleeping agent into Makia's mouth while he was keeping it closed, but now with Mount Lady yanking his mouth open, the students have a chance. Mina coats her entire body with acid using her Acid Man technique, and she jumps right into Dobby's flames. She is determined to get close enough to Makia's face to throw the sleeping agent into his mouth. She is using the acid coating to protect herself from the flames as she attempts to reach Makia's mouth. And if she succeeds, the biggest threat to the heroes, other than Shigaraki himself, might actually be neutralized. We wish you the best of luck, Mina. However, at this point we don't know if Mina actually succeeds. At least not yet, because this is the exact moment that the chapter ends. Overall, this chapter further emphasized just how OP Gigantomachia really is, and how important it is to stop him from meeting up with Shigaraki. At this point, I honestly can't think of any way that the heroes could take on both Shigaraki and Gigantomachia if they were to join forces at the same place at the same time. Not to mention all the other overpowered villains like Dobby who are also along for the ride. Unless the students can really stop Makia right here and now, this war arc could turn into a total bloodbath that could easily engulf all of Japan. With Gigantomachia and Shigaraki working together, entire cities would be destroyed, the villains would probably take over large chunks of the country, and the heroes could actually end up taking a massive L at the end of this arc. This is not something that I ever would have expected prior to this arc, but with everything that's been going on lately, it really does seem like Horikoshi is preparing to change the entire dynamic of the MHA world. It seems like the hero society is crumbling, and the villains might actually score some real serious W's before the conclusion of this arc. So, will Mina or any other student succeed in taking Makia out? And if so, will the other villains like Dobby manage to get to Jakku even without Makia? Personally, I think Dobby will definitely make it there because he needs to have that big showdown with Endeavor and finally reveal his true identity. That is my opinion at least, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about Makia's power, the fact that he has multiple quirks, and do you believe that he underwent a similar procedure to the one that Shigaraki just went through? If so, do you think that Shigaraki might now be more prone to being manipulated by All For One as a result of this procedure? Could Shigaraki become an obedient servant of All For One just like Makia without even realizing it? Or is Shigaraki's transformation fundamentally different from Makia's? Definitely share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more Boku no Hero content right here on the channel, please leave a like to let me know, it really does help. And if you happen to be new to AnimeUproar or you just haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell to turn on all notifications. Remember that you really have to go through the trouble of clicking that bell and then selecting the option that says all. If you don't do that, you're still gonna miss a lot of our videos even if you are subscribed. It's just how YouTube works. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. I want to give a big thank you to all of our AnimeUproar patrons for making videos like this one possible. Special thanks to all of our The One tier patrons, the ones who rise above all other clans, including Ingrata, Alolanatum, The World, Steelers, A Quiet Respect, Pate Heffa, Jonathan King, Brandon Aviles, Papa Smurf, The School Bus, King Riser, Emperor Otaku, Ricardo Martinez, Thomas Jones, Kinmano, Michael Hyde, and Jade and the Vector. And I can't forget all of our Pro Hero tier patrons, including the one and only Gilgamesh, Nothing But a Fan, Jason Wilson, King Zeldris, Anatoly Kazatsky, Angel Cruz, Cricket XP, Joe Stanton, Very Gucci, Alicia Octor, Jessica Kayla Fond, Hinokami and Water, Bonnie Parks, Zodiart12, Rathuin Deora, Kraken, Arels, and Deadly Saint. If you enjoy our videos and you feel that they provide value to you, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Even a single dollar will give you access to our patron exclusive Discord, and your name will appear in our videos along with these amazing people. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.